Welcome to Black Coal Woodworking. My name's Matt. I'm going to share with you what I've been learning about the skew. This is my woodworking journey. Join me. It's important to have a sharp skew. I sharpen mine without any jigs. It's probably more difficult, but it's all I know. This is why, to me, not knowing the angle of my skew hasn't really bothered me. I think it's more important to be consistent so I know how to use my tools. I used to sharpen with a belt sander, and that actually worked quite well. The grit I used was 120, and my bowl gouges were sharp. I didn't use the skew much then, so I did sharpen one skew with the belt sander just to see if it's sharp enough. And how sharp is sharp enough? Ideally, you should not be able to see the edge of the tool. We'll test the difference between the types of sharpening I've done. The planing cut. I use it when the wood is about 4 inches in diameter or less. I'll also use it when there are knots in the wood or the grain isn't straight. These little features are more suited to a planing cut. A knot or a grain that isn't straight can act more like cross grain, and that's just not skew friendly, for sure for peeling. I also use this when I'm getting that last little bit to round because it's a nicer finish than a peeling cut. How do you use the planing cut? Well, you first gotta anchor your skew on the rest. Keep the tool at about 45 degrees to the wood. Raise your handle, turning it slightly till you start to see cutting. Then you can move it across the wood. If you feel brave enough, you can even flatten the angle of the tool to take off more wood at a time. The peeling cut. I use this cut to get wood down to round quickly or to remove a lot of material really quick. If you find the tool wanting to catch, try lowering the skew for a lower or mid peeling cut. Taking off less material at a time can also help with that. Or you may need to switch to a planing cut depending how bad your wood is. To actually do a peeling cut from square, start by putting your tool on the rest. That's always number one, anchor it there. Then rest the tool on the wood so you can hear the sound of the wood hitting the skew. Slowly bring the tool back towards you and raise the handle until you start to see the peeling happening. Then stop pulling the tool back and just lift the handle. Let the magic happen. Remember, you really have to anchor that thing to the tool rest too. Next up is the V-cut. I use this when I'm cutting sides of features. For example, if you're going to make a bead, start by outlining it with V-cuts on either side. Like every other cut, anchor the tool to the rest and keep the skew vertical. Then lift the handle and put the toe of the skew into the wood. The next cut that you make should be on either side of that first cut. The only difference is that you're lining up the bevel with the direction of your cut. You can't take off more than 1 millimeter or 2 with this cut. 2 is probably a bit much. You'll probably get stuck with that one. So take light cuts with it until you get more familiar with it. To cut a bead, there are 2 ways to cut them with a skew. One is with the point of the heel, and the other is with a peeling cut. To use the point of the heel, hold down the skew with one hand on the rest firmly. Then with the other, raise the handle and turn the tool. It's a complex motion that takes practice and will probably result in skid marks. The first ones are going to usually be in your shorts. The rest are going to be on the wood because it's not really that bad, unless your piece was just about finished. To peel a bead, you anchor the tool on the rest again, keeping a flatter angle, almost as if you were going to peel the wood from square. Only this time you're going to rotate the handle of the tool while lifting it, keeping the bevel firmly on the wood with the other hand. This is also a complex motion that can be learned. It just takes a lot of practice. Now it's your turn. It's time to practice as much as you can. The benefit you'll get out of this is overall tool control for all of your wood turning tools. This is that skew I sharpened on the belt sander. Going this way, not so good. Apparently I didn't sharpen that side very well. Going the other direction, way better. So belt sander with skew, not so good. At least in that one time I tried it. On my bowl gouges, no problem. Thanks for joining me on my woodworking journey and the way that I'm learning to use these tools, and I hope it helps you somehow. Let me know in the comments below.